morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses. Greg Wolf, Andy Serling. Week 2 of the
It's an eventful first
Belmont.
week, wasn't it?
It was an eventful first week. I just did a stewards review. We talked about a couple, one non-DQ and one DQ. And actually, it was kind of interesting because Cody and Victor did not agree on one of the calls, and so they offered their different opinions on it. But ultimately, the majority opinion was Victor's. Anyhow, we'll get that video out. I'll put it up on Twitter, and you can always check it out on the NYRA YouTube page. Lots of good stuff on the NYRA YouTube page as well. We've got the jumps to start off today, and then 7 flat races.
Yeah, grade 1 over the jumps at quite a ways, 2.5 miles.
Yes, I'm tired just thinking about it. We'll cover that. You'll be on. I'll be on from 2 o'clock on. You'll be on from 1 to 4. So we're coinciding for a couple of hours. Head over to NYRA Bets. Use the promo code MATCH200. We'll match for $200 of your initial deposit. Play NYRA Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Feeder contest. Can only play this through NYRA Bets, by the way. $40 buy-in for the feeder contest on Friday, for the $300 contest on Saturday, which you can also play if you don't qualify through the feeder, or if you don't want to play the feeder. You have until post time tomorrow to do this. Go over to nyrabets.com/contest for much more information on these contests. Only can be played through NYRA Bets. We've got a $15 bonus, 75 or more at Big A, at Belmont, the Big A, and Churchill. And that Churchill meet, I feel like the Churchill meet, is it over after this week? It's a pretty short meet. I feel like it's like 2 weeks. This would be, maybe it's 3 weeks. I guess it probably goes until Keeneland, right? And Keeneland starts in 2 weeks from the weekend. Yeah, so probably a week after this one as well. And we have the show from 1 to 7, actually, because today is Little Brown Jug Day. And most of the jug action starts around 4:30 to 5, around 5, right?
Race 16 and 17 are the jug eliminations.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressed that you know that. How many races they run into?
20.
Wow. It's a long day.
Long day.
People have their chairs chained to the fence. It's actually, I was watching footage. It's a beautiful day there, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's always an incredible atmosphere. But yeah, I guess Labor Day, they start locking those chairs up to get those spots.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Love that. Oh, I thought they left them there for the whole year. I guess they don't want to leave them there during the winter. They come in, they could be a little rusted up after that. When I was a kid, we had a friend who owned a beautiful house right on the beach at Fire Island. We used to go as a kid. And he built this beautiful wooden house, very modern. And the downstairs was an open area. And there were like wings coming off it and then going to the upstairs. And a friend had given him a pinball machine. Now, I was like 7 or 8 when we used to go there as a kid. And as kids, we loved pinball. And pinball was like the game. There was no video games, no nothing. Yeah. Well, he had left it out during the winter. And of course it got completely and totally rusted over. And I remember going there and the pinball machine was rusted over. There's nothing more torturous, right? Because I could have played for free, Probably a nickel back then to go that. And I always think of that when I hear about Fire Island, was the rusted pinball machine. Anyhow, I digress. Race 1. We don't have any picks for the Lonesome Glory, but we will show the stretch run of the Jonathan Shepherd, where Zarek the Brave got it done over my friend Patrick Lewis's horse, Hidden Path. And we'll see what happens today with him. Hidden Path is currently the 2-to-1 favorite. I got to root for Patrick. He is my friend.
So this is the Jonathan Shepherd? Mm-hmm. Ran second here, right? Mm-hmm. But outfinished Hidden Path.
Hidden Path was third. Zarek the Brave was second. I'm sorry. Jimmy P won, right?
Yeah. Look, he's got to carry 150. He's giving 16 pounds away to some of the runners in this race. It's a significant amount. And that was a good effort, certainly, last time out. But now, a little bit further as well. Do you think the extra distance helps or hurts? I don't know.
I don't have a strong opinion on these things. Obviously, quite easily beat him. It's only a 2-pound swing against him in Hidden Path's favor as he drops 2 pounds for the same 158. And I don't know. It's interesting to see Swore in here, a horse who was a nice router for Graham Motion, is now jumping and won the last start at Colonial. And also there's a horse in here coming out of a race, a 1 5/8 race at Fair Hills. The training center on August 30th. They ran a series of 1 5/8 flat races down there. I was talking about that with Eric last night. See what happens. I believe Eliza Hendricks is going to be on the desk.
Yeah, so we'll get the word on Hidden Path and how that one's doing.
Where's that Clancy guy?
Prepped that horse to skip the early part of the year and wanted to be peaking this time of year, and we'll see if he is.
And of course, a lot of these races will culminate when we head down to Far Hills late in October, right, for their big day, and hopefully
Yeah.
that'll be a nice weather day because that's always a fun day for people to go. Getting the flat races, race number 2. I'm very curious, and my biggest thought in race number 2, where I don't have a particularly strong opinion, I thought it was one of the 1, 7, or 8 in here. I didn't really care that much. David has the horse that I picked on top, the 8 favored Yo 11. I thought She's Complicated, the 7, would be favored in this race, and we'll show her winning 3 races back in the slop. Taking the big drop down for Linda Rice, a horse that had been with Jamie Ness. I thought the 7 be favored, and that's kind of why I picked Yo 11. And for me, I'd probably take whichever one of these 2 horses was a second choice. I didn't
Yeah.
have a strong opinion, Greg.
I think they both have a big shot in this race.
Right.
I wound up going to She's Complicated because I think she controls and has the ability to be in front here and be alone on the lead. And I look at that last start. It was against Way Too Tough. She was battling between 3 horses and a pace stool up front, and I don't see that happening today. So I think she's going to have a lot easier time of it on the front end.
I don't disagree with any of that. Having said that, Linda's numbers, the percentages are good with her drop downs, the 50% or more drop downs. The ROI is low because they're usually short prices. And I wonder what price she'll be. And to be honest, if the morning line held up and Yo 11, who I picked, is 8 to 5, I don't trust her either. You know, I just kind of went there. And I wonder if one of the things that David was looking at was Flavian Pratt riding Yo 11 with Irad not riding here. You know, maybe Flavian is going to start taking more money. And listen, I respect David. He's usually right about these things. I was just surprised. She has the faster back races of these, though obviously she's another drop down we haven't seen for 3 months.
Yeah, her numbers going long too. They're tough. I think that they make her tough in here. But again, yeah, I mean, I love Michelle Nevin, terrific trainer too. But Fernando Abreu is pretty solid.
I agree. I agree.
This one,
And Bill Morey had this horse before Fernando, so it's not
Yeah.
like this horse hasn't been in good barns.
yeah. So we kind of know who this horse is, and certainly could on the day. I just think She's Complicated. If she gets loose, it's going to be tough to run down.
Yeah, I'm going to be curious to see what the prices are. And that's where I'd go. You're not at all worried the 1, Spirit of Esther, that May's going to send her from the inside? Pace Projector has her vying for the lead with the 7 horse.
No, she could go for sure. I just think the 7's quicker, and Kendrick has to try and use that speed because that's her best advantage. And if she doesn't, she's going to obviously. I think she has no chance in here. So
The 7?
Yeah.
She's not. Well, I mean, you don't think she can stalk the 1 and still win?
I want her in front. We'll see.
We always want to be in front. We'll see what happens in race number 2. Race number 3, I struggled with race number 3. I'm not going to be surprised if any of the 1, the 2, the 3, the Firster, the 5, Sunshine Lily, I guess even Patience and Grace. I didn't love this horse's debut. I think it looks better on paper than it actually was. You're going to go the first time, sir, from Mel Giddings. And my question is, does she have the magic here with her horses that she seemed to have so often up in Saratoga?
Yeah, I don't know in this field if you're going to need a lot of magic.
No, I don't think.
But no, I see what you're
wands.
saying.
No,
see what
I
you're
mean,
saying.
it seems like Mel really does a good job of pointing her
Yeah.
horses to Saratoga and doing well there. And I wonder a little bit. I think it's going to come up again when we talk about one of the later races in Phil Antonacci.
Yeah, no, it's another good point. He had a terrific Saratoga. I think with this horse, so the first foal that ran out of this dam started 2 for 2.
That horse would win here. Federal Judge?
Yes. Ran a 97 buyer in the debut. Won the Grade 2 Phoenix. As you mentioned, Federal Judge. So
Was he one of the favorites in the Breeders' Cup Sprint last year? And this complete and total I know it was a complete and total no-show in that race.
was he one of the
I
favorites?
feel like he might have been. I could be wrong. He was
wasn't-
in there. He'd
yeah,
run,
he
didn't he run
wasn't
like
a huge
like a
price.
105 buyer?
Oh, yeah, he'd won the Phoenix going
like
into
a
it.
huge figure, yeah.
So this is the second one to run, and reportedly, according to DRF, Clocker Reports has early speed according to those works, and actually did work with non-winners at 2 Life Allowance winner at Finger Lakes last time out. And there's just no killers. The one I did like a little bit, I was considering putting on top was Juliana's Dream. And that good effort from her was a couple back in a compact field. I think she will show speed and be interesting, but
We'll show her race. We'll show her race
she
from
looks
her
like
Forest
she's
field,
running in
January
slow
23rd.
motion, her gala.
Well, I'll say a couple of things. First of all, Mel Giddings horses usually have speed when they're
Yeah.
live. So that falls in line absolutely. And the other problem is if Red Velvet
Look at the
Cake
4 here.
has speed, though, isn't it going to be problematic for Juliana's Dream? because Juliana's Dream is a forward horse.
Yeah. No, the two's going to go, yeah.
But, I mean, she loses to Army Gal here, who came back and ran 16 Beyer points faster, ran a 92 Beyer here the other day when she beat that fast horse coming off the win in Saratoga for Chad
she's
Makarovich.
dangerous, yeah.
I mean, if she runs, and I guess the way I looked at her was she came back a month and a half after that race. She obviously didn't run well, but then she's off for a significant portion of time, and she comes back in a turf sprint, which just felt like a prep to get a race under her belt. They're probably trying to find a race for her. Maybe one didn't come up on the dirt, so they ran her in that to get a race under her belt. I mean, she's
March
very
8th
dangerous
race, I'm not worried
here.
about it at all. Yeah, 'cause she went to the bench. Yeah.
I worry, though, about the 3. If the 3 is, even if the 3 doesn't win, if the 3 is good enough to have speed, she's going to make Juliana's Dream's life miserable in here.
Yep.
And I think that helps the horse that I like, Sunshine Lily. And if you look at Sunshine Lily, okay, last time out, I mean, she fell the face of the start. Yeah, I mean, she completely and totally eliminated the break. You go back to her other dirt races, they're all fast enough to win here, and I thought there could be speed inside because I also thought Katie King might have to go a little from the rail. I don't know if she's fast enough. What?
No, I'll tell you after. Go ahead.
I mean, I think Katie King's a little bit interesting.
I do too. Yeah.
I'm always scared of Greg Sacco. His horses have run extremely well this year in New York. I think it's his son that does the training here, mostly in New York.
Okay.
I would say Greg just takes the credit when they win, but he actually does always give credit to his son. So, but I feel like his horses have had a very good year here in New York.
So now I was just realizing how I is going to play a potential multi-race wager here, and I know who's going to win the race.
Who?
Because I was
the horse you leave out.
I was going to go all but
Sugar
one.
Ride, you think?
Let's just let people know here. My strike rate when I go all but one in a race, the one I don't use, and I'm not exaggerating this by any means, wins about 90% of the time. I was going to use all but the 4. So I would heavily lean on the 4 if you're out there playing, considering using multi-race wagers here.
You would leave Bodegas out, but you
Yes.
would put in Sugar Ride.
Yes.
Okay. I guess we're getting a window into why the other horse seems to win for Greg. It's happened to every one of us. I blew.
No, it happens to me all the time.
It happened to you at Woodbine the other day.
Yes.
Correct. Yes.
it did, yeah.
Well, Greg used 9 out of 10. I understand somebody using 4 of 5, slightly better than 9 of 10 mathematically, but that's another story. I found this race to be very, very tough. I think any of these horses can win because I don't think there's that big a margin between the best race by the 2, the best race by the 5.
No.
The 1 is interesting. The debut was okay, and that's a sharp barn. I think now you throw in the Red Velvet Cake, and David made that horse a sort of tepid favorite, so I'm guessing he saw the same things that you did as far as the workouts. We'll see what happens in race 3, which begins the pick 6 today. The pick 5, the early pick 5 starts in race 2. The late pick 5 starts in race number 4. And I want to talk about Innate because I don't think there's any. See, you and I very much disagree in this race. I think Innate is way the horse to beat in this race. I believe that Warolo is better than these horses. My worry with him is this is a horse that Phil really got cranked up to win up in Saratoga. Now, he had a first-time star that lost a photo here the other day, a 2-year-old that absolutely was 100 lengths the best in there, did not get the best of trips. So he's got live horses, but I wonder if this was one he really had ready for Saratoga and whether or not he comes back and runs well. But I thought this horse's both races have been very good.
No, they've been exceptional. I think probably in some ways this well, I'm not going to say he's the horse to beat, but he's the now horse, even though Bosun's been very, very good. Because that was against this condition, other than allowance for Innate last time out, and he just missed against, as you said, a horse is very good in Warolo. And he's paired up numbers now where I think he is going to take a step forward, and it's going to make him very tough. Still, in my mind, he's still got to jump forward quite a bit for to catch the last 2 races that Bosun has produced.
We'll show Bosun's last race, and we're going to have a big disagreement here because I'm going to start the late pick 5 just using 3 and 4 in this race. I don't like Bosun at all. I thought he was extremely opportunistic. It was a great ride by Kendrick last time, sensing the lack of pace in the race, and the only one out there that seemed to really look at the PPs and realize there was no pace, and because of that, he put the horse in position. Now, credit to him going out of his running style to get it done, but nonetheless, he had a very good trip, I thought, in that race, and I thought he had a good trip the time before that, though he did easily beat Courtney Banker, who came back with a huge win in his next start, in fairness.
Yeah, look, and I just like his versatility, too. He could be close. He could sit off like he did before, and he competed against a horse who is better than any of these, probably in front of the Devil a few starts back on grass. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see run for Carlos Martin at Saratoga. You look at his last 2 races, the figures I look at, he's 3 lengths or more faster already right now than Innate. And I think Innate's going to take a big jump forward today, but if Bosun runs one of those last 2 races, it's going to be very hard to beat.
Well, Bosa's going to do what he's done 2 straight races. He's going to beat me if he wins today. I'm going to bet Feltrinelli in here. It's a horse that has shown some promise as a 3-year-old last year. And, sort of routine improvement easily gets him fast enough to get there. But you are talking about a horse that's now been off for 14 months. I did look up some numbers for George Weaver, 250-day plus layoffs in turf sprints. 3 for 11 with 8 hitting the board and a 449 ROI, suggesting these layoffs, he has these horses ready off long layoffs and turf sprints. And I thought if he could build it all in those races last year, he could potentially upset the field. So I'm going to bet Feltrinelli and use 3-4 in the pick 5.
Yeah, he's dangerous. I looked at him. It's obviously it's Weaver. You see a couple of stakes. I just thought because of that he's going to get overbet. And I looked at his stakes races, and they really weren't that fast. But yes, with progression, first start back, he's got a lot to make up on these 2, especially Bosun. But he's dangerous.
All right. Greg likes Bosun a lot more than I do. We'll see what happens in race number 4. I guess we'll take a break, and we'll come back with the late pick 4 after this message.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Greg Wolf and Andy Serling. Race number 5, mile 16 from the turf for 2-year-old fillies, maidens, and there's some interesting pedigrees in here. A couple of horses came out, including Pamper and Authentic Cat and Vacoma View, the 2 and 6, 2 that I thought were both interesting in this race. And we'll start with the horse that ran in Fraudster before we get to the firsters. I think Fraudster is the horse to beat. I do think you benefited being on the rail. I actually think the Deep Learning ran better than a lot of people think up in Canada without getting a very good trip. Really a shame they're working on those outer turf courses, and those races had to be run around 2 turns.
He's beat less than 2 lengths, right? Length and
yeah, he got a lousy. He just got bad position in that race, or she did. And I thought Fraudster was outside, and most of the horses that were outside didn't do a lot of running that day. And I think Fraudster is way the horse to beat in here. Though you're going to try to win with a firster, Belle of Georgia.
Yeah, so look, Miguel Clement, first-time starter for Reeves Thoroughbred Racing. The Dam produced Group 1 winner and multiple Group winner. Never So Brave.
2 of 5 the horses around turf were pretty good.
Yeah.
I hate the Wooten Bassets.
Why?
They never seem to win here.
Really?
Yeah. Go ahead, the Works.
Works solid, too, especially strong on the gallop out. And it seems like, I'm inclined to give Blue Madam a chance again, even though I don't have that one in my top 4. But it's got to be better than what we saw first time out, right? But
she was horrendous first time out. I agree. I mean, I put her 4th with the scratches in here, but my God, she didn't lift a hoof.
But working, too, with Isadora Duncan, who's not really lighting it up in the morning.
Yeah, I've got the 5 second for the same reason, and I want to show... We're going to show Opulent Restraint, who's actually running here on Saturday, running 3rd in the Belmont Oaks, because she is, in fact, a full to Isadora Duncan. And so I found some video to show because the others just weren't that interesting to show. And I like going back and actually, if you didn't look at Sunday yet, the foal out of Uni is making her debut here on Sunday for them. This was it's a very big pedigree, significant form who won her debut. The Dam was disqualified, but she did finish first. She won the Boston Spa. She won almost $1 million. She was very good. And this is only the second foal. The other one's good.
Won her first 2 starts as well.
Now,
win early pedigree.
How much information do you have on Isadora Duncan? And how much do you want to get from me?
Send it to me. I'll read it on the air.
She's a famous, she was a dancer as well as a choreographer. And she died, I think, in her early 50s. She was sort of well-known story. I used to date a woman many years ago who was obsessed by Isadora Duncan, so I've known about this for many years.
Okay.
She was, I think her boyfriend or whatever was like an Italian car racer or something, and he had like a sports car, a convertible. This is a long, long time ago. And she got in the car with a long scarf on, and the scarf got caught in the tires and killed her. Yeah, she broke her neck, actually, in the tires. A famous story of Isadora Duncan. Did you watch Bad Sisters on, is it Apple or Netflix? No. Oh, it's good, because there's a little bit of a... Anyway, that's the Isadora Duncan theme story.
That's tragic.
But a famous, very, very famous character. And of course, this horse is owned by Peter Brandt's wife, Stephanie Seymour Brandt, as well. But yeah, I don't know if this horse is working that well, but it's a very big pedigree.
Yeah. No, it's huge.
The one thing I was wondering was, Opulent Restraint has gotten really good when they've been aggressive with her. And I wonder if they'll want to employ the same tactics here. Also, do you see the pedigree on the one, the Jeweler? Yeah. It's kind of crazy that Into Mischief from Vequist, who won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, only sold for, yeah, I did. It was one of my last winners in the Breeders' Cup, I think. Only sold for $375,000, and while it's a lot of money, it's not a lot for this pedigree, especially for a filly. Because if she ever gets black type, she's worth a lot of money. And then Bill running this horse to the turf, it just seems like a bad sign, doesn't it? It's a big pedigree.
It's still, I wouldn't want to let this one beat me, would you?
I don't know. I think the 9 is going to be very tough in here. I thought Fraudster ran extremely well last time. So I'm going to basically be 9s and 5s in here.
Okay.
Race number 6. So we'll look at Laughing Boy at Churchill Downs a couple of starts ago. I think this is 3 back, finishing 3rd. I'll tell you one thing about Laughing Boy. He does, we can get that video up. Eddie, you're having a problem? Eddie had a big vacation, so he's not really on top of his game. He's still out in Bali on the beach somewhere. Did you bring me a gift back from Bali, Eddie? I didn't hear anything about a gift. Okay, we don't have a replay. Laughing Boy's job got easier with Winter Ghost coming out, who has speed and was also inside of him. I moved him up to 2nd after the scratch, but I'm going to try to beat him. I don't know. I hate these horses claimed from Jacobson.
The horse you have on top, I thought so long and hard about putting on top, who we'll get to in a minute, but that horse is incredibly dangerous. Laughing Boy, to me, margin of error, who was 2nd in that race. It's a 12-time winner who's won almost $500,000 in his career. That was a tough, I felt 25 claiming race.
And the winner came from dead last, so it's not like speed held up.
I feel like this horse will control on the front and be incredibly dangerous now.
I don't disagree. He's way the horse to beat. I just, I have a thing about betting on these horses dropping down, the claim from Jacobson. This is the horse that got put up for you to hit a big pick 5, right?
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he got put up when they took down the Dutro horse. Messier?
50-4-1.
Yeah. I remember I was whining about getting taken down for a few $100s, and then Greg texted me and said he got put up for it, so I was actually happy I got DQ'd because that was a big pick 5. 8 or 10,000, 13,000.
It was a little bit more than that. I thought it was going to be a lot bigger with a 54-1 shot, but it's still, it was good.
It was still it was a bad DQ.
It was.
With OP Firecracker, this horse had real trouble last time. It bothered me that he didn't seem to have the speed he's had before, but he got in legitimate trouble and was stayed out in the backstretch. Big drop down. Jeremiah Englehart has good numbers. He's 3 for 8, 6 hitting the board, 273 ROI, 50% drop downs on dirt at Naira. He's 1 for 2 in routes. They're not big sample sizes, but he does seem to win. And I thought the horse had enough trouble last time that at a better price, I'll give him another chance because he does have at least some good recent form.
You make the argument he ran the better race than Laughing Boy. I mean, that was legitimate trouble where he had to steady out of there.
I think he did run the better race. The problem is that Laughing Boy may have things his own way today.
Exactly.
Now, he's not supposed to be compromised, but he's got to show a little more speed than he did last time. And how much speed are you going to get from the number 2 in this race, Bold Endeavor? He's kind of in a position where he and the 2 and the 4, they've really got to at least leave a little bit to make Laughing Boy have to work a little to get the lead, don't they?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I don't see anyone stealing that away from him. I thought the interesting one in here was if someone's going to upset it, here's Peak.
I've given up. He's
Really?
Andy off.
Okay.
I don't know. He's not doing any running.
Yeah.
How was he not 2nd last time? I don't know. I'm moving
But I'm
on.
very, very high on OP Firecracker, and I think the 4 and the 7 would be.
They're the 2 I
Yeah.
basically want to go with. I probably use the 2 a little as a backup. Race number 7. We'll start in race number 7 with the horse on the rail, who I have 2nd, you have on top. I have mixed feelings about Strictly Taboo. We'll show her easy win last time. I'll say one thing. For whatever it's worth, the last 2 times she's drawn the rail, she's run 2 of her better races.
Yeah, she had. Look, she got a
great trip in
perfect
there.
trip
Great
last
ride.
time out.
Yep.
But she walloped this field.
She did.
I mean, and it gets inside again. Rosario knows her well. I felt initially, slightly busy. There's the upside, 3-year-old improving filly who's maybe, cutting back in distance too and shown
We'll
ability
get
at
to her
6
in a sec.
furlongs. But this one's in just such good, sharp form right now. And I like where she's drawn. She'll be able to save ground from the outset. That I'm going to go with the kind of now in form horse.
Yeah, I was having a discussion with my friend Nick Tamero last night talking about this race. He's really against Strictly Taboo. And I said, I'm trying to beat her, but I'm not as wildly against her. I mean, she may get another trip. She is a horse that's very comfortable when she's able to get that rail position. Though I do think that Weekend Rags in that race was compromised being wider. The track was fair, but I thought she's going to run better today, and I'd want to use her a little bit. I really like Strictly Busy in this race, though. First of all, slightly busy. Amelia Green's barn went cold for a little while, and they really started to heat up late in Saratoga. I don't feel like she hasn't even. I don't think she ran a horse. Did she run a horse here opening week? If she did, I barely remember it.
Not sure.
I mean, I printed these PPs so long
0 for
ago.
2, it says.
This is the win off the layoff sprinting. Now, she also got a very good trip in this race. I'm not going to deny it, but this was her 3-year-old debut. And to me, she ran a race that would make her very tough in here. Then she wasn't able to be forward in her next start for whatever reason, but I actually thought her last race going long at Saratoga, she ran really, really well because she was on top of the pace, and the pace was set by that horse that, I think for Horacio, that ran badly here the other day. But Brock Nardini totally took advantage of it, and she was still running at the end, and I think she's more suited to sprinting. I prefer Slightly Busy. I actually like her a lot today.
It was a toss-up for me. I think she's the one who's improving and incredibly dangerous, especially on the cutback.
So much more upside.
Yes, no question.
Yeah, no, I like her in this race. We'll see what happens. And be honest with you, I didn't really like anybody else. 1 6s and 7s was all I could find.
The horse doesn't win. Linnerite's a little dangerous, but needs so much to go his way.
Needs so much to go her way. I agree. She made a huge run up the rail to win. I thought the last race, an interesting race. I'm sorry to see the number 8 came out because I thought Will Howard was very, very dangerous in here. Let's start with Asking for a Friend.
Wait,
what?
Oh, the new picks aren't up. I'm like, that's not who I picked. Okay.
Yes. Want to show our picks for the last race? Oh, why don't you show Asking for a Friend first? This is the 2-horse who's stretching out off a sprint last time out in the turf, 2 starts back. I will say one thing. You can't really use the stat because she went long in the dirt last time. Mike Maker is good stretching out horses on turf. He's good with stretching out maidens. I just thought she was so lucky to suck up for second in this race. He was lucky to suck up for second in this race, where Light, fantastic. I'm not saying should have won, but absolutely should have been second. Got left, rushed up into a wicked pace, and blah, 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 blah. And I just would rather take horses that have experience going long in here. So I'm kind of against the 2. Not wildly against, but against.
I love the 2 sprint to stretch out, and the horse actually showed ability going a mile on a race. I know it was a race that came off the turf, but sort of has an experience of doing that as well. I think the horse is very dangerous. I thought hard about putting that one on top, but to me, Mo 88 has just run so much the best races of anybody in this field, and I'm not near the point at all where I'm thinking, well, this horse has had all these chances and hasn't got
he's
done.
had 2 difficult trips. He's had real excuses in 2 of his races.
Including last time on the grass. This horse got squeezed, had to take back out of there after kind of just, it wasn't really a bad bump, I thought, but kind of cost him getting back in position.
Wasn't the world's best ride.
No.
You know what I don't like about this horse? He's going to get... I agree with all of those things. The problem is he's got a 75 buyer in the dirt in a stake race off the turf. And Butta came back and won out of that race. And he's going to get bet off of that race for heavily. If you didn't have that last race in there and he just did his other races, you might get a half a point to a point higher. So I feel like you're losing some value because of the last. I don't disagree with that, but I like Egyptian. First of all, I love Dave Duggan. And listen, Brendan Walsh is terrific. I'm not denying it. It's not like it's a positive trainer change or anything, but I don't think it's a negative trainer change. I think Dave is very good. I thought this horse ran okay in both of his starts. First time out, he chased wide in the first turn, chasing the pace. I thought he actually ran pretty well to hang in fairly well, beaten just a length and 3/4. Next time out, he broke slow, far outside posts in both those races. He was wide chasing, and he just didn't run, and
That
he
was a
hasn't
loaded race,
run
too.
now. Right. These were very good races he was in. Significantly better races than these horses have been in. A New York bred running down in Florida in live maiden races on the turf. AP Kiddo, unfortunately, isn't with us anymore, but that was a very good field. 13 Colonies, who finished third. He was second in that really good turf allowance race, the last race of the day, that was won by Mott and a Claiborne horse that came back, and I want to say ran second in maybe the Secretariat or something. One word. They're all the Claibornes are one horse word names. A very good horse for them. And I just want Egyptian this race, and I also think he can be forward with Kendrick, who's riding great.
Yeah, that one's very. This one's tough, but in the end, I just went with the one who has the best numbers on grass, and I think, as we said, there's excuses and experience. Completely ran off with that group.
I'm 3s and
was
4s.
Pretty good.
I'm 3s and 4s.
Yeah, Terminal Velocity came back and was second, beat less than a length against State Bred A other than.
Yep.
So the company's been very strong.
I have no argument with that. I think he's very, very dangerous. I prefer him to a horse like Before the Wind. I was going to use Willpower as I'm going to run. I'm 3s and 4s. I don't think I'll get 12-1 in Egyptian, but I'd be happy with half of that. Thanks, Greg. I'll be seeing you upstairs soon. We'll be on the show together from 2 to 4. Greg will be on from 1 to 4. I'll be on 2 to 5, covering races today. 1 to 7 today, actually, including all those Little Brown Jug races.
Yeah, who's your pick? Blueprint is who's the one to beat, I guess?
I'm staying out of the discussions of the harness races.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's the big favorite.
You,
But
on the other
two
hand, have been
best
studying up.
Pacers drew the same elimination. Pretty interesting.
Really?
Yeah. And they met back in that Pennsylvania Sire Stakes last time out. Only a neck separated them.
The first time I saw eliminations when the Grand Circuit would come to Saratoga, I think it still does, as a kid, What a Baron won one of the eliminations, and he won the final for the pace. I still love those Grand Circuit races. Because all the top drivers, the Haughtons would come, and Stanley Dancer was driving back then.
Really?
Well, Neville Pride, I think a little before like a year or two before I went there, had set the world record, I want to say, for trotting on a half-mile track up in Saratoga in one of those races earlier. I'm sure some of the old timers like me remember
It's a
Neville
huge
Pride.
day.
Yeah, no, harness racing's great. I just, don't really follow it the way I did once. But I spent many, many, many nights at Saratoga Harness, which was really great. I was in high school with my friend John McCarthy and Bill Joubert, those guys. Anyway, head over to Naira Bets, use the promo code MATCH200, and we'll match with $200 initial deposit. And of course, remiss to remember my friend, the late Richie Freelander, who, as many people up there know, are the great handicapping minds in the history of harness racing. Left us too soon. Match 200. We'll match with $200 of your initial deposit. We've got the $40 feed-in contest tomorrow. Got to sign up by post time tomorrow. Get more information for that at nairabets.com/contest. All these contests can only be played through Naira Bets. $15 bonus if you bet 75 more at Belmont and Churchill Downs. I opted in for this just in case I get home, because I think Churchill's 5 o'clock today, and I fool around some Churchill races, which I've been known to do. And 1 to 7, Little Brown Jug Day, our action here as well. Greg's got to go up to work. I'm going to get some lunch. We're done. Chris Griffin's just getting started. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.